Welcome to the Stepmom Side with Alicia, the podcast for stepmoms ready to create the life they want and one they actually have a say in. Here we talk all things stepmom life and just a little bit more. Leave the superficial conversations at the door and get ready for perspective shifts and actionable advice to help you on your way to creating the life you want, one step at a time. Hey, welcome back to the Stepmom Side Podcast. I'm your host, Alicia, and I'm so glad you're tuning in today because, we're about to talk about something that might make you feel a whole lot of emotions. Mother's Day. Yeah, I cannot even believe it's almost that time of the year again. But for stepmoms, it can be a bit of a minefield, right? Today we're diving into navigating the mom role on Mother's Day, and I'm going to share a few of my own experiences and give you tips on how to handle this day with a little less stress and a lot more peace. But before we dive in, I want you to know if you're feeling a little lost, frustrated, or left out on this Mother's Day, you are so not alone. We've all been there. Trust me. Okay, so let's be real for a second. If you're a stepmom, Mother's Day can feel a little, shall we say, complicated. There's this weird balance between honoring the mom and, let's be honest, hoping that you also get some sort of acknowledgement for all of the crap that you do. I mean, hello, you're a part of this family too. But also, let's not forget the awkwardness of the kids being like, Happy Mother's Day, but also we're going to buy your mom flowers because you're not a real mom. And it's like, great, I'm so happy you love your mom, but can we just acknowledge that I've been here too? And that's even like banking on the fact that they actually say Happy Mother's Day to you. I'll be honest, Mother's Day for me over the years has looked so very different. At the beginning, it was very, I didn't have the confidence to, or not even confidence, but I didn't even have the self-esteem to be like, I deserve something. I was just like, oh, well, here's another slap in the face of like, you're never going to be good enough or you're never going to measure up and no one's ever going to acknowledge you or appreciate you or whatever. So I never, communicated to my husband like, hey, here's how I would like Mother's Day to look. Here's what I would like, to happen. I expected everyone to know what I would want and be able to read my mind. And so then when they didn't, I was pissed. And then, like my stepkids would get me things and I'm like, oh, well, they only got me things because, somebody told them to, or my husband reminded them, or, their grandparents reminded them or whatever it was. And it was just like, no matter what anyone did, I just wasn't happy. Like if they didn't do anything, I wasn't happy. If they did something because somebody else reminded them, like I was not happy. And then, so like I've gotten nothing, I've gotten things. And then now every year for Mother's Day, I might get a text, maybe. I absolutely do not get a phone call. But honestly, I've come to realize that it's really not that important for me to be celebrated by them. Like I don't lose my mind over it at all anymore. I'm all about supporting our stepkids and showing love to their mom, but here's the thing. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't be seen and appreciated for the role that we play too. It's okay to want a little love on this day without feeling guilty for it. So here's the deal. You're a stepmom, not a stepmom, but not a real mom, or a mom, but not the mom, because all of that is so confusing, right? This role doesn't come with a script, and it certainly doesn't come with a Hallmark card that says, hey, you're doing great, stepmom. There are more cards that are coming out, though. But you know what? That doesn't mean that your contributions aren't valid. There's this misconception that as a stepmom, you don't really have the right to celebrate Mother's Day because, well, you're not their biological mom. But let's just squash that myth right here. You're a mother figure, and so whether you're full-time or part-time, that counts. And something just to note, here in the US, Mother's Day is one Sunday. The following Sunday is Stepmother's Day, which, kind of sometimes feels like a slap in the face. Like, of course, we can't even like share a day, or the day that we get celebrated is the weekend after Mother's Day. But I get it. And it's hard when you feel like you're juggling the role of like supporting your partner, honoring their ex, and maybe even trying to set your own boundaries about what you want for yourself on this day. There are so many expectations floating around. It's like, where's your space to just be? So let's get to the good stuff. how to actually navigate the day so you're not curled up in a ball crying over Pinterest DIY projects and mimosas you can't even seem to enjoy because the kids are demanding breakfast, if you even have them on Mother's Day. So I'm going to give you a few tips, 3 of them to be exact. Tip number 1, communicate with your partner. This is something that I preach a lot about in the podcast and in coaching and in the community and like in my social media content just in general. But communicate with your partner. Communicate with your partner. No, communicate with your partner. Talk to your partner before Mother's Day. That's why this podcast episode is coming out so early. And I know it sounds like a pain to have this conversation so early, but trust me, you want to be on the same page about how you both want to approach the day. Do you want an acknowledgement? Do you want to help your partner plan something special for your stepkids' mom? Or do you want to say, nope, I just want a day to myself? Whatever it is, make sure your partner knows what you need. If you don't communicate, then you can't get mad when things don't go your way or even remotely close to your way. And let's face it, as much as we love our partners, they can't read your mind. And so if you don't say anything, you are absolutely setting yourself up to be curled up in that ball crying, because expecting them to know what you want is a guaranteed way to get let down, because Mother's Day as a stepmom is so emotionally charged anyway. Like, okay, there's the anxiety of like, am I going to be celebrated? Am I not going to be celebrated? What's going to happen? What's not going to happen? How awkward is it going to be? There's all of these what ifs. So please just communicate with your partner. Tip number 2, create your own traditions. And this is such a big one because as a stepmom, you can feel like you're walking on eggshells when it comes to family traditions because, well, you're not the original, so to speak, mom. But here's the thing, you can still create your own traditions. What if you decide that Mother's Day is your day to just do something that makes you feel celebrated? Maybe you go for a run. Maybe you take a bubble bath. Maybe even just binge watch Netflix in peace. Do you. This day doesn't have to be about fitting into someone else's idea of what a mom is supposed to do. And you can create a tradition with just yourself. You can create a tradition with like you and your partner. You can, depending on the relationship that you've got with your stepkids, you can create a tradition that includes them as well. I would say depending on what your relationship with them is, I would create a tradition between you and your partner, if not just you. Because here's the thing, this kind of hurts to hear, so I'm just going to preface that and say I'm sorry, but your stepkids didn't choose you. Kind of like you didn't choose them. They came as a package deal with your partner. They also didn't choose you. They weren't like, hey, this is who I want you to date. So I think the expectation of like your stepkids doing something big, small, grandiose for you is a little far-fetched, especially if you're new or especially if things aren't good in your relationship. That's where your partner comes in. And maybe the kids don't even realize how much you do. Again, they're kids. They're really honestly not even thinking about you. A lot of times the only reason why, or their parents even, not even just you, but a lot of times the reason why they even have anything for Mother's Day is because school has made them make something. Made them, air quotes. But yeah, sometimes it's just easier to have a tradition with you and your partner. Like, okay, we know that my stepkids are going to be with their mom on this weekend or whatever it is for Mother's Day. And so your partner says, hey, Alicia, how about we do this? Maybe we go out for brunch. Maybe I make you breakfast in bed or whatever it is. Whatever it is that you communicate that you want, sometimes it's almost better just to have that little tradition, just like the two of you. So I would say don't get so caught up in your stepkids being the person or being the people that need to do this thing to celebrate you. Sometimes that would be nice, but sometimes I think it's better just to have your partner being the one celebrating you. So tip number 3, acknowledge your own role. You don't have to be anyone's second choice, so to speak, to be important. Your presence as in you physically being there, not your presence like I'm buying you something, your care, your effort, those matter. And while you might not get the big flowers and a brunch in bed moment, I mean, I sure didn't, acknowledge yourself in some way, even if it's just a quiet moment to reflect on how far you've come as a stepmom. You're not just the bonus mom, if that's what you call yourself. You're actually a real part of this family. So my 3 tips for you are: 1, communicate with your partner. 2, create your own traditions. 3, acknowledge your role. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There's no perfect way to celebrate Mother's Day as a stepmom. It's messy, it's emotional, and sometimes you just have to let go of any expectations and just roll with whatever happens. This is not the time to aim for perfection. So if you're multitasking, come back to me. Mother's Day is not the time to aim for perfection. If you get flowers, awesome. If you don't, well, that's okay too. The goal is to feel at peace with the day. And hey, if your stepkids give you a hug, a homemade card, or just some decent conversation, take it all in, because these moments are real and matter more than anything else that comes in a box with a bow. And also just a really quick reminder, Mother's Day is just a day. Just an FYI, Mother's Day is just a day. And I've talked about this before, with the holidays, like Christmas and such. Rather than getting your stepkids something big, on Christmas, you can do a different day of the year because they're inundated with all of the things. Kind of the same things here. If your stepkids choose to celebrate you on a day different than Mother's Day, please don't take it personally. As a reminder, they would do that to me too. But also, they're more than probably task saturated and not even thinking outside of whatever they've literally been instructed to do. So I hope that you're feeling a little more prepared to face the emotional roller coaster that Mother's Day happens to be. But remember, this day is about you, your growth, your role in the family. Own it. Be kind to yourself. If it's not all rainbows and roses and sparkles and hearts and glittery and all of the things, that's okay too. If you want extra support, join us inside the Stepmom Side community. You are not alone, and I'm here to help you navigate the highs and lows of being a stepmom, whether it's Mother's Day or really any other day of the year. And as always, if you have found this episode helpful, please share it with another stepmom who might need to hear it. And if you're feeling really brave, please leave a review, because I love hearing from you. And so I'm going to say this super early to you, but happy Mother's Day. Take care of yourself when it comes up in a month. You've earned it. And I will chat with you next week. Thanks for taking time to listen to this week's episode. If anything was helpful or resonated with you, please share it on social media and tag me. I'm just at Alicia Crosco. And if you could leave a 5-star rating and review while you're at it, that would also be really helpful. And if you find yourself struggling with your stepmom journey and you want a little bit more support without the hefty price tag of coaching, you might want to check out the Stepmom Side community, which is my own private community for stepmoms, where you get to connect with other stepmoms around the world and myself, where I hold weekly office hours and monthly group coaching. It's kind of like you have your own personal coach in your own back pocket. Again, without that hefty price tag. See you next week.